My name is Thomas Waterman, founder of BackStory. I think it all starts from a place of excitement where you have an idea, you get really pumped, you think you're going to accomplish it in 2 weeks and basically take over the world, right? That's the initial entrepreneur feeling. And then, as we all know, it's a roller coaster of sorts. So then you slowly realize that you don't know everything, you don't know your customer very well, and everything you're doing is a complete assumption. So I went to a downward part of the roller coaster and found that I needed resources, I needed help, I needed someone to guide me in the right direction. And luckily, ta-da, Starter Studio happened to be 3 feet away from me. And I actually debated whether I was going to sign up or not. But thankfully went through the interview process and found a lot of support and already got a lot of good advice in the beginning. So really it set the tone, the advice I got, to move forward. So I went into the interview with a totally different idea called GiveFolio, which was an app. Of course, we're all trying to make apps these days about investing in charities, and you get this pie graph of seeing the good you did, and I realized that it wasn't about the numbers. People don't want the numbers, they want the emotional experience, they want the engagement, they want to trust the charity they're working with, and they want to see the impact of their dollars, and that all happened kind of during an epiphany I had one night where I realized that GiveFolio wasn't the solution and BackStory was. Not that I had the name at the time, because it actually took me about 2 more weeks to think of the name, but I realized that people want quality storytelling. People want meaningful calls to action, and people want to see the impact of their dollars, and people are kind of fed up with traditional charity and the way it operates, and especially as it's moved online. So I really wanted to solve that problem of bringing the human experience online so we can scale meaningful social good in the world. So I thought of that after my interview and kind of walked into Starter Studio day 1 with a new idea without telling anyone and just went for it. Where we were was a place of assumptions. I had confidence, but I also had doubt in what we were doing because it wasn't fully realized. I hadn't talked to the right people to verify and validate things. I hadn't built out or designed things professionally. It was all very up in the air during the whole experience. But as we got closer to demo day, everything started getting on paper. We started building out a prototype. We put together an MVP, and we got to actually test, right? So nothing was an experiment anymore. It was becoming reality. So we got our MVP out there on demo day and tested it, found out that we need to do even more of a good job storytelling, and we ended up we're in the process of redesigning our website completely through that test. So we started with a very vague conceptual idea, and now it's real, and now it's on paper, and now it's even online. So I think going from concept to concrete actual prototype and product is the most incredible thing ever, but it's also the toughest thing. So that's where we are today, is everything is actually there, which is nice. So a year from now, we hope to have, I would say, 20 clients and be giving them amazing, meaningful campaign experiences. Right now, we're still in the development stage, so I'm pumped to, one day, 2 months from now, to have a fully realized, developed platform and be able to actually run live campaigns. So we're almost there. We're so close. It's ridiculous, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to get there. And I think we're in such an exciting place because we're almost about to be able to do what we set out to do 6 months ago. But we're not there yet. But I envision us doing it and learning a lot and messing up along the way and then figuring it out and then doing it again. So I see us at that place in 1 year, really doing what we do and doing it well for some clients. But I know that there's even another step to what we're doing where I don't even know what it is yet, but we're going to learn from our experiences and build an even more powerful platform, and really just try to solve the problem of scalable, meaningful online giving and social change. So as someone told me, I forget who it was, but said, don't fall in love with the solution or your idea, fall in love with the problem, and you'll always be moving in the right direction. You may not know where it's going to take you, but you'll always be moving in the right direction. We're reinventing the online giving experience, like I said. We're doing that by diving into stories about social causes. We're providing meaningful calls to action for individuals, and then showing the impact of every donation dollar raised. So what we do is our platform creates crowdfunding campaigns. We create powerful content about a particular story, about a particular cause. That crowdfunding campaign has a specific goal tied to a specific charitable outcome. So $50,000 to build a school, or $20,000 to help 2 kids with food for 2 years. So very specific things. And then once the goal is achieved, we go and we show the impact, and we allow people being helped to thank the story backers who backed the story. So it's a very unique experience in that we're flipping crowdfunding on its head, essentially. We're not trying to create a platform for anyone to create a campaign about anything where they tell, a paragraph and a picture is their content, and the follow-up is maybe an email update every once in a while. And the company makes their money by skimming a certain percentage off the top. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to tell really amazing stories and make really amazing change and allow people to have really meaningful experiences. So it's not just, thank you for your donation, here's an email, and the story ends there, but you get to really see what your money is doing and make real change. So that's... We have 3 customers, but 1 pays. So we have our nonprofit. So we're forming nonprofit partnerships with really amazing organizations. We want to engage individuals, so current donors, potential donors, people in the community. So we have those 2. Individuals, nonprofits, and our paying customer are companies. So that's kind of our second value proposition, right? So we want to target companies and help them show that they care more than just about the bottom line. We want to help them build their brand, engage their team, so build company culture. It'll help with their recruitment, employee loyalty, and we want to help them amplify their impact. So the money they're already giving, maybe they can use that as a match goal for their campaign, and then they can double that by engaging the community, which means the current donor list of the nonprofit, which means the employees, which means their customers, really provide a meaningful experience and engaging experience for all of their stakeholders. So they are our paying client, and we run 1 story campaign per quarter for each company that we work with. The biggest takeaways are that we need mentors who have been there before to help build bridges for us so we can walk across big crevasses quickly. It's amazing how much I would learn in 10 minutes talking to someone who's been there, done that, as opposed to trying to Google it and figure it out myself for days on end. So getting that confirmation about things or learning new things from them was incredible. It was everything, invaluable. Also that we don't know everything. If we think we know everything, it's because we know everything maybe in our little bubble, but that bubble is limited by our experiences. So I've realized that you just got to keep getting a taste of new things to realize what you're capable of learning. So our bubble is always expanding. That's another thing I learned. Probably the last thing is that if you think you did it right the first time, you're a complete moron. And that it takes about 4 times for anything to do it well. My speech, for example, I pitched it the first time, it was a complete joke. Second time, it was pretty bad. Third time, it was okay. 4th time, I finally got off the script, and then 5th, I killed it. It was an amazing experience, but God, did it start bad. And the thought of all the hard work I put into it in the beginning, how I thought how good it was, and then how good it got is like ridiculous, right? Like, because I thought it was good, and now looking back, I realized how bad it was. So you got to keep iterating and keep learning, because the first time is never going to be the right way. Something cool was it about design. Someone sent me a quote about design, and it was, design isn't finding the solution for something, like finding the perfect design, but it's always being mindful about making something look better and be better, more user-friendly. So it's kind of this like artwork that's always evolving. So to think that you did something perfect the first time is a joke, and it's always evolving. So always keep your mind open. That's probably another one. I would say that Starter Studio, the experience, needs to dive more into marketing and design, and user experience. That's a big piece of what we do, is communicating our idea appropriately and getting it to the right people. And we definitely need to spend more time on that and get more mentorship and workshops. Maybe even have people that we can work with and, yes, pay them a certain fee, but them actually do some work for us. It'd be interesting to have a Starter Studio kind of network of resources that we can pay maybe at a discounted rate because they're a part of the program, and they can do some good design work for us or user experience work for us or build out a quick landing page instead of us trying to build a Wix page and waste some of our time, because that's not what our focus should be. That could be interesting, because I really think the future of business is a couple people with doing the core stuff, and then a lot of outsourcing to people who do what they do best, freelancers at their finest, right? I'm essentially a team of one at this point, and I'm outsourcing everything to partners, and it's been fantastic. I have a Starter Studio mentor of mine working on our creative writing and copy and getting our message better. I have a financial friend of mine who's working the QuickBooks. I have a web development team I hired working on doing the mock-ups of the redesign right now. It's really important to get people and harness what they're good at, and kind of keep it at a partner level, not necessarily having everyone in-house, because then things get a little complicated. The most unexpected thing about Starter Studio was definitely the relationships. It wasn't just learning stuff. It was building relationships with the different companies. It was building relationships with the mentors, the people who work here, really buying into a community, right? So we're the kind of center of technology here in Canvas, and everyone wanted to help the starters, and it was so cool. So we were able to develop all these relationships. It was almost less about the knowledge we were learning and more about the people who we were meeting. Yes, people were teaching us things and we were learning concepts, but really it was about meeting the people in the industry who have been there and done that, and being able to take us to that next level and do it because they really care. We're now immersed in this community and kind of intertwined in it as starters, right? Like, we'll forever be a part of this world, and being able to weave your way through meeting people and building partnerships and seeing how you can collaborate has changed everything. I find that a relationship just opens a new door for you, and it really broadens that bubble we were talking about. So that's the biggest takeaway, was how like magical of an experience meeting other humans has been. One starter that really stood out to me was Ricky Alphonse, Advancing Technologies. He's someone who was in a job for like 9 years, was really stagnant in his like what he was doing with his life, and he'll probably tell you that too. And he decided to go with a passion of his, solve a problem in that area, quit his job, and just go after it. And I don't know how you do that after that many years at one place. And it's just, it electrified me. It pumped me up because of his willingness and determination. And he was doing it all on his own, all by himself. And he is creating an innovative product. And it's incredible because it's such a expensive thing to do. And he's not stopping. He's writing grants. He's meeting doctors. He's going out and meeting developers, hardware and software. And it's not even in his nature to go out and meet a lot of people. If you know Ricky, he's a little more reserved, a little more of a classy guy. And he's always pushed his comfort zone, and that just gets me pumped up. And sometimes he'll even text me in the morning with like an inspiring video or something. And it's just his care for others was something that really surprised me as well. So Ricky's definitely one of them. I think the other one would be the guys from Movers Atlas. They came in here with a fully built out product called Movers Atlas. They've been working on it for a couple of years, and they knew they weren't crazy about it, and they knew maybe it wasn't their future, right? So they came in with a fully built out product and said, I'm willing to throw this out. I will throw this away. And talk about accepting and embracing vulnerability. Talk about leaving your ego at the door. They were so obsessed with finding a better solution, and now they have Sensari, which is fantastic. And they pivoted Sensari already. They went from providing maps with different filters to curating a map for you and your preferences, right? And they just showed me that earlier, and that was a conversation we had a couple weeks ago. So knowing that they pivoted and are open to that was inspiring, because we all need to put our egos out the door. And we all need to push aside all that so we can do the best we can do, provide the most value for our customer as fast as possible. So they really set the tone for that.